There may be explicit language in today's episode. Viewer discretion is advised.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the first debate. Let's see if I was paying attention and got it right. First time on the show, both gentlemen right here, Kaleb Doner, which for me is on the top because that's the way the screen is going, and then on the bottom is Kelis Joliet. Did I get it right?
Nailed it. Perfect.
Let's go. And Kelis, people watching the show will know who you are because sometimes on the show, Alex and I will go, but Kelis said this. but yes, so they are debating, will the Cincinnati Bengals make it to the playoffs or not? So Kelis is saying yes. Kaleb is saying no. However, that is not what we are starting with. Kaleb, I'm a man of my word. I told you I would give you a little bit of time talking about your team, which is the Denver Broncos for some reason.
Living in northwestern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so of course, listen, I'm a big fan of Bo Nix. That's all I'm saying. I'm a big fan of Bo Nix. So I mean, so far this season they're not bad. So go ahead.
Look, it's definitely not coming from an offensive standard. I mean, Bo Nix has 11 interceptions and 20 touchdowns. So, like, it's definitely not 100% the offense. It's the defense is easily carrying our entire team. I don't even think, honestly, in all honesty, Bo Nix should be behind Jaden Daniels in Rookie of the Year talks because Jaden Daniels has less touchdowns, more yards. He has less touchdowns, more yards, less interceptions. So you look at the stats, and Jaden Daniels is honestly a better quarterback. In all honesty, Bo Nix just makes bigger plays in crunch time than Jaden Daniels does, in my opinion. Jaden Daniels had that one touchdown, 2 weeks ago, where he threw it like 50 yards, 60 yards, caught it down in the end zone. So, like, that's the only big play I've really seen out of Jaden Daniels. Most of it is his receivers just making good plays. But the defense is honestly amazing. Like, we're first. We're tied for first in points allowed. So, like, that is a really big come up for our defense since the defense has been struggling the last couple of years compared to 2013 when, like, we had that big ass defense again that when we played in Super Bowl 50 against the Panthers, and Von Miller really fell off after that. We traded a lot of key players, and it's been a crap show ever since then.
Mm-hmm. And you guys gave us Russell Wilson that's going to win us the Super Bowl.
Sure.
But right now, the Broncos, and since Kaleb mentioned it, mentioned Daniels, the Commanders, both 9-5 right now. So
they are.
If who do the Broncos play this week?
I think the Chargers. Yeah, we play the Chargers in LA.
Ooh, they got the Chargers, and
this will be the true test to see how Bo Nix does, because that's a really good defense that on a team that was an afterthought at the beginning of the season. They weren't expected to hit any charts the way they are.
And the Commanders have the Eagles this week. Now, this isn't. I'm going to preface this that I'm saying that this isn't going to happen. Like I'm making it very clear this is not happening. But with all the crap we're talking, Kelis, the Steelers could have the same record as the Broncos by next week.
Yeah,
I'm just saying they could, but they won't.
The Broncos' path to the playoffs is harder than the Bengals' path, right? And you look at the stats
No, it
that
is
Katie
not.
mentioned. You okay?
Hey,
So
hey, Kelis, do me a favor real quick. Tilt your camera up a little bit.
Sorry.
There you go. That's better.
Remaining strength of schedule. Last 3 weeks, Bengals have the third easiest schedule, only behind the Chargers and the Falcons.
Who do they play?
So-
They play the Steelers.
Bengals?
They play the Broncos, and then who do they play this week?
They play the Browns. They play Browns, Broncos, Steelers.
I think
the third easiest remaining strength of schedule for this reason, right? For this reason, if the Steelers win the game this Saturday against the Ravens, they've clinched the playoffs already, and now they've clinched the AFC North, right? And this is coming from a Steelers fan. I'm not even a Bengals fan. I'm just a realistic sports watcher who understands.
We're talking about the Bengals right now.
Yes,
We're getting
the
started.
Steelers.
All right.
It's not even, but this plays into the Broncos, right? This plays into the Broncos.
Okay. Oh,
right?
yeah. True.
It's the fact
I'll still give you.
the
I was gonna say I'll still give you an opening statement.
the Broncos' path to the playoffs is just harder, right? It's less achievable than it is for the Bengals because the Steelers are more than likely
100%.
going to rest their starters on that January 5th game against the Bengals. The Bengals beat a bad Browns team who benched Jameis Winston, who was their best chance of winning. If you think DTR is better than Jameis Winston, I don't know what you're doing, but he's not. And then they play the Broncos, which is going to be the game that matters, right? So if the Broncos lose to the Chargers, who are better than the Broncos, I think, offensively, and they're close defensively, right? That's the thing. Is the Chargers offensively are better. They have a better run game. They have a better pass game. But defensively, I think I'll give the Broncos the edge. But this is an offensive league. That's what it's switched to. It's switched to offense. And if you're giving me Bo Nix versus Justin Herbert, I'm taking Justin Herbert to win that game. And then the Broncos have to go to the Chiefs January 5th, where they've lost a nail biter game by a block kick, but the Chiefs are going to be playing for a 1 seed at that point.
Yeah, those are some good arguments, but yeah. So, time to get started with what everybody that is watching is here for. So rules wise, this is what we're gonna try to do. And if anything doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen, just remember this is the first time we're doing this, so we're testing this out. But since this is on Microsoft Teams, I'm going to give each guy a opening statement. Whoever's not talking for their opening statement, because I have the power to do this, will mute their microphone because I can. And after that, there will be 5 questions. I will ask whoever what, and we'll go from there. I will mute when that's going on. I will mute my microphone, and I'll let you guys decide. How long do you guys want to talk for each question? 2, 3 minutes?
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean that works. Yeah, like 3 minutes.
All right, we'll play it safe. We'll go 3.
Yeah.
But and then at the end of the 3 minutes, to get your guys' attention that the time is up, just in case, I will mute both of you, and then I will start talking, and that's when you know that that the question is done, and move on. So we're going to start with the yes statement for why so Kelis will explain why he thinks the Bengals will make the playoffs. So I will mute Kaleb, and then I will mute me, and Kelis, the floor is yours.
Yeah. And again, this plays off of what I talked about earlier. Is that I think the Bengals offensively are better than almost any team in the NFL. Maybe not Lions or Bills, but I think they're up there. I think they can compete and they can score. You're going to have a Triple Crown winner in Jamar Chase in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. If Joe Burrow's on any other team with any other defense, he's the clear MVP frontrunner, leading the league in passing yards and in passing touchdowns with a QBR of 73.9. The Bengals are going to be playing the Browns, Broncos, Steelers. Steelers are going to be resting their starters on January 5th, getting ready for their playoff appearance. Hopefully not to have the same outcome as they did against the Browns last time they were in the playoffs. And then the big games for the Bengals are going to be tonight whenever they play the Broncos and Chargers. And the loser of that game has to lose out. I think Chargers win that game. I think they're a more complete team, better on offense. Their defense is just as good. And then the next week on December 28th, it's going to be Bengals versus Broncos. And now you're asking me to pick between Joe Burrow or between Bo Nix. And I'm picking Joe Burrow over Bo Nix. And then you look at the receivers, Jamar Chase, Cortland Sutton. I'm taking Jamar Chase. You look at the second receiver, it's Mims versus T. Higgins. I'm taking T. Higgins. The Bengals offensively are going to be too much for the Broncos to be able to handle. That year when the Bengals made the playoffs and almost won the Super Bowl, Joe Burrow was the most sacked quarterback in the league. That's not changing. He's still making plays with an awful offensive line gameplay, and he's still producing, and he's still out there scoring. But realistically, I just think they have a better chance of making the playoffs over the Broncos. The Broncos have a super hard schedule. They go Chargers, they go Bengals, and they go Chiefs. Chiefs could be competing for a 1 seed. If they lose any of the next 2 games, then they have to play against the Broncos with their starters. The only way this doesn't work out is if the Chiefs end up beating both their next 2 opponents, which is the Texans and the Steelers, because then they rest their starters because the Bills can't compete. But overall, I think the Texans or the Steelers can end up pulling a win with Patrick Mahomes' injury, which we still don't know a ton about yet, if he's going to be playing or not. But that would be my opening statement.
So, as I try to figure out how to unmute Kaleb, Kaleb, I think you can unmute yourself too. Is another possibility? But
Yep.
there we go. All right, there we go. But all right, I changed my mind. 3 minutes is enough time for opening statement, but I feel like for the chaos factor, we're gonna keep the questions at 2 minutes just for the fun of it, because I'm an asshole. But yeah, so I will mute Kelis, and I will mute me, and Kaleb, take it away.
I agree with what Kelis said, 100%. But when you have a defense that's bottom of the league, not even middle of the pack, bottom of the league, letting 20 to 30 points match your team's 20 to 30 points a game and leaving it down to the final seconds to actually win the game, you should. That's not a playoff team. That's not a playoff running team. They might make the playoffs, which good for the Bengals, but they aren't going to make it far if they do. That offense is not good enough to carry them. You see people like Josh Allen carrying a whole team. He literally carries that whole team. Josh Allen is the Buffalo Bills. Their defense is middle of the pack when we talk about the Bills. But the Bengals, their offense just isn't good enough. Like, yes, Joe Burrow's leading the league in passing yards. Jamar Chase, Triple Crown winner. T. Higgins, hurt for half the season, has only played 9 games, has 669 yards and 6 touchdowns on 50 receptions. And, like, the run game isn't even that bad either. Chase has 830 yards rushing on 7 touchdowns. So, like, that offense is really good, but it's not good enough to, in my opinion, with the amount of good defenses that are in the league, to get past the defenses that they still have. Browns have a good defense. Haven't been performing, but they have a good defense. Broncos, top 10 defense in the entire league. The Steelers, they might play, like, they might sub people out and stuff, but they're still going to play a first half of football. They're going to want to get up. If they're down going into the half, they're going to play their starters. Like, they'll have to. If they want to make the playoffs, they're going to have to, because they're going to have. It's going to be them. It's going to be the Bengals and the Steelers fighting, or not the Bengals and the Steelers. It's going to be the Bengals and the Ravens. So the Bengals want to beat the Steelers, so that way they can be above the Ravens to have a better chance to be in the playoffs, right? So I just don't think that the Bengals offense can carry their terrible defense, in all honesty.
Damn right at the buzzer. But yeah, Kelis, you can hit your thing.
Yeah, sorry. Can I say something really quick about the defense, about
Sure, go
letting
ahead.
up points? So, who made it to the Super Bowl last year? What two teams were it? Making sure Chiefs, Eagles, correct? Those were the Super Bowl teams last year. Where do you think the Eagles ranked defensively
Yeah.
in yards allowed per game? Where do you think they ranked?
Wait, you talking about last year or last season?
Last year. Yep, last season.
Okay,
last
so
season.
it was the 49ers.
Oh, was it? When was
It was the
it
Niners.
2023? 2023, I mean, sorry.
Oh yeah, no. It was the but no,
2023
no,
playoffs.
but still the Eagles. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Eagles.
They were number 7. They were bottom 7, sorry. They came in at bottom 7 in yards allowed per game. Guess what they allowed in points per game allowed? They were bottom 3. And that year they made the Super Bowl with that team because of their offense, not because of their defense. It's the league has switched from this time where it's like defense wins champions. Yes, that's good and all, but defense can only do so much when the offense is getting the ball. When they're
Go back and look
scoring.
at who they played in the playoffs
Let's see.
leading up to the Super Bowl.
They played. Where's it?
Subscribe, by the way.
Yeah, please do. Tailgate Talks. But the point I'm trying to say is that you don't need a crazy defense to make this playoffs and to do good. What year was this? What year did they play the Bengals and Chiefs? Am I stupid?
Are you talking about the Eagles or the Bengals?
Yeah, Eagles and Chiefs. Eagles and Chiefs in the Super Bowl. What year was that?
That wasn't last. That was 2 seasons ago.
It's 2022.
It was for the 2022
Yeah,
season.
I'm trying to see who they. Okay, so they played. They had a first round bye. They played Giants and they played Niners to make the Super Bowl. That's the year that the Giants had their like crazy run. It was Brian Dable's like first year coaching. I'm pretty sure Saquon was still there.
The Giants and who?
The Niners.
Gotcha.
And they went on. And I think
So
won that Super Bowl.
they played one good team. What was the score of the Niners game?
I have no idea. I have no clue. It was a low-scoring game, I think.
I'm gonna try something.
They played one good team, and what, they lost, right? They lost against the Chiefs?
No, they won that year. That year they won the Super Bowl, right? Mike, am I wrong?
I think they won in 2020.
The Eagles win the
So wait,
Super Bowl.
you're talking about what year did
They won the
Eagles
Super
win
Bowl in
Super Bowl?
2018.
Yeah, that was the Nick Foles. That was the Philly special, Nick Foles 2018. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
2023. It was the 2023 year that they went and they lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That was a high-scoring game.
yeah. But yeah, so all right. So we got to get this ball rolling. So just as a reminder for everybody that is listening, I will mute myself and I will ask the question. Well, I'll ask the question, then mute myself. And then I will give them 2 minutes to talk. Hopefully, as a content creator, I get a lot of chaos. It is what it is. And at the end of the 2 minutes, I won't unmute me and say, "Oh yeah," I will mute the both of them, and then that's when the time will be up and we move on. So yeah. So the first question, and the timer starts once I'm muted. By the way, it is based off of will they make the playoffs, and The question is, given their position in the AFC North, what are the realistic chances of the Bengals making the playoffs considering the need to win the remaining games? And
it doesn't matter. The position in the AFC, they're not winning the AFC North. I think that's pretty cut and dry.
Agreed.
So I actually think it betters them because the Steelers are going to be less competitive, right? I forget who mentioned. I think it was you who said that like the Steelers like are going to want to play to beat the Ravens to have a better schedule or a better standing total than them. But that's not the case, right? If they win today or they win Saturday against the Ravens, it doesn't matter. They could lose the next 2 games and they're still the winners of the AFC North.
No, yeah, yep, 100%.
It doesn't. I honestly think like. Again, the Bengals are in the best case scenario for the playoffs. Clean cut, dry, doesn't matter the standings of the AFC North at all.
I don't think so, because then they're battling the Ravens to win out. I think the Ravens have a better chance to win out.
And the Ravens are gonna win. The Ravens are gonna make the playoffs too. They're not battling the Steelers or the Ravens. Like that doesn't matter. The whole AFC North is gone. It doesn't matter what the Ravens do, and it kind of matters what the Steelers does because they have to beat the Ravens, and if they beat the Chiefs, it only helps the Bengals because then the Chiefs are going to want to play their starters. The whole AFC North doesn't matter at all. The Bengals they don't care about that. They're playing for the 7th seed wild card spot. That's it. Their season's on that. That's the entire thing they're worried about. It does not matter what the Ravens do or the Steelers do.
I don't think that defense is good enough, even with the teams that they're going to play.
It doesn't have to be. Give me MVP Joe Burrow. Give me MVP Jamar Chase. Triple threat crown winner. Cooper Kupp. They won a Super Bowl that year.
I think they win. I think they win a close game against the Browns, and then they lose against the Broncos. Lose a close game to the Steelers.
No, wrong. It's so wrong. I'm sorry. That's the delusional Broncos fan.
I got that off in time when he said delusional Broncos fan. Wow, gentlemen. All right. You can go ahead and unmute yourself. Also, I'll just to clarify, if anything is said after I mute you, it is a penalty. Just to make that clear. So to get this rolling. So the next question is, what factors have contributed to the Bengals' inconsistent performance this season, leading to their current 6-8 record? And this is for more so they will not make the playoffs. So here we go.
100% the defense. Like your defense, their defense is letting down their offense. Like, I think it was last week that Joe Burrow had to throw a 2-point conversion and he missed it. So they're relying way too much on their offense to win games. Yeah, that's proof of it right there.
It wasn't last week that happened. That was against the Ravens. That was like November 7th.
Oh, it was week 10. It was week 10.
Yeah, and again, like, I don't think this is a defensive problem as much as it is like a coaching problem, right? Like, I think Zach Taylor's time in Cincy kind of needs to be over.
100%.
I don't think that the decision making is all there. You have
100%.
times where the Bengals are up 2 scores and then just kind of blow it, and you have just small mental errors. I think it's not stat. It's like if all the 1-score games were like flipped, what the outcome would be. And the Bengals, I think, were the number 1 seed. They've lost. Let me count how many 1-score games they've lost here. It's 1, 2.
It's got to be most of them. Yeah.
What is it? 4, 5, 6, 7. They've lost 7 1-score games
out of their 8 losses,
which is insane, right? And I think all of it stemmed from week 1, right? That loss to the Patriots, 16-10. And that's when the offense couldn't get anything going, right? The defense was actually playing well, I think, at that point. And I think it's like the coaching decisions that happen, right? 1-point loss to the Chiefs the next week too. It's like stuff like that. It's like demoralizing, and I think that's on the coach. I think like you have like, because then you flip the spectrum, right? You have the Kansas City Chiefs. who are on the winning side of that spectrum who have won like 7 or 8 one-score games. So it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it has to be on this coaching.
I won't mute you because that seemed friendly that round.
There was a lot of agreeing there.
And honestly, you know what? Since you guys already talked about it, or we're talking about it, might as well just continue it and just skip to 4 because it's number 4. Zach Taylor's coaching decisions. How have Zach Taylor's coaching strategies throughout the season influenced the Bengals' current standing?
It's just been awful.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear and this is like, again, I'm arguing from a standpoint where it's like, I typically don't root for the Bengals, but I feel bad for them at this point, right? Because I think Joe Burrow is an excellent football player. Jamar Chase is really good. And it's almost like at this point where it's like, is Zach Taylor wasting their prime, wasting their career stuck in Cincinnati?
100%. It's the same. It shows on the Niners too. When you look at Kyle Shanahan, like the last 4 years, they've had the same players, made it to 3 Super Bowls, can't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like
it's
why? And now it's this season, and George Kittle is the best player on their team, and they're going to lose Brock Purdy next year unless they pay him $150,000 million. So
I just think Joe Burrow and that offense are too good to not make the playoffs, right? And I think there's too much on the line with I think Jamar Chase still needs a contract extension coming up, and there's too much on the line for the Bengals to be in that win now sense to give that up. And yes, like, the defense is going to be the issue, but the offense is so much better on so many levels than 95% of every offense in the NFL. Again, I'm only putting the Lions and the maybe the Bills above them, and the Lions aren't even really there anymore after losing David Montgomery, right?
Mhm.
And Chase Brown is coming into fruition. He's playing better. I think they have Mike Gesicki at tight end, who's playing well. They have 3 amazing receivers, and the rookie Ishkovac, however you say his last name. Joe Burrow's playing like an MVP again. If you put him on any other team who has like a competent defense, he's the clear front runner MVP, and it's not even Josh Allen.
Yeah, he has 200 more yards than the next person above him. I agree that the offense is the highest caliber in the NFL, but that defense just tears them down. They just let them down week after week.
Once again, don't have to mute you, but yeah. So I did add something at the end that I think is interesting, and try to be somewhat different. But after the last question, I'm calling it the last shot. I'm gonna mute me, and I'm gonna give you guys a whopping 4 minutes to give your closing argument, and I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, so the next question is the impact of Sam Hubbard's injury. How does Sam Hubbard's season-ending injury affect the Bengals' defensive capabilities and their playoff aspirations?
It doesn't.
No.
I'm sorry.
Trey Hendricks is the star of that defense. He's 30, and he's still the best player on that entire defense.
I think that whether or not he's on the field or not, the Bengals are still letting up 30 points, but they're still putting up 50, right? They're still, I think it hurts them in the sense that they don't like that those third down pass rush stops. Like, it's going to be harder to achieve those because you're missing your best pass rusher. Like, I think Sam Hubbard was better than Trey Hendrickson. I mean, he's still leading the league in sacks. Sam Hubbard is. But at the end of the day, it's like we're making a bad Bengals defense still bad at the end of the day. The reason this team is going to win is because of its offense. It's going to be go down, score the ball, other team go down, score the ball, go down, score the ball. Maybe the defense makes them kick 3, but they're scoring touchdown after touchdown after touchdown after touchdown because of Joe Burrow, because of that offense. His defense is not going to be the reason. Other guys will step up. It's that next man up mentality. I think the AFC North is probably the best in the league at having that like next man up mentality. The Steelers do it the best in my opinion. I mean, you look at like their edge rushers, but there's just something about playing in the AFC North where I think you have that edge over playing in the AFC West. I don't think you like the AFC West. You like bend over for Patrick Mahomes. It's like, oh no, he's gonna beat us again.
Hey,
Like in the AFC North, you can't have that. It's like it's a dogfight every time. I think they'll be fine. They have 2 divisional games coming up where I think they can win, and then they play a bad Broncos team. I think they'll be okay.
the defense for the Bengals is really young, so it's not entirely on coaching or their fault. They're super young. I think their average is like 25 years old. So like they're still young and they're still like reaching their primes. So it's not like
you're
100%.
advocating for the Bengals now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him too, but I'm just a realistic person. Like that offense.
I was gonna say the last 2 questions were friendly, so I was gonna let him speak a little bit past the timer, so that's fine.
That's fine.
But yeah, okay. So, Kaleb, you're gonna love this last question because it mentions your favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Great.
With the Steelers and Ravens performing well, do the Bengals realistically stand a chance in such a competitive division? Now, hold on. I know the Steelers are going to win a division already. It's set in stone basically at this point. It's either the Steelers or the Ravens. I get that, but hold on. You get you get the point though. How does the Bengals' performance against the AFC North this season impact their playoff potential?
It's whoever wins out. Like the Ravens either got to win out or the Bengals got to win out. Whoever lets down the most games they just aren't gonna make it. They're not gonna make the cut, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, they're 1-3 right now against AFC North opponents. Their only win being against the Browns, and they won that game pretty comfortably. And they lost a close one to the Ravens. I don't think they lose again if they were to play them. And again, they lost the shootout to the Steelers, right? In a game that no one expected to be a high-scoring game. Like the over/under for that game was like 38. And then the game ended up, it was like the record-setting game at that moment. It was the most points scored in a game the season. This season until I think there was the Bills-Rams game set the record after that. But the Bengals have to improve in that sense, but I'm not worried because, again, they played a Steelers game where it was a shootout, which no one expected to happen. The Steelers were not known really for offensive. Russell Wilson came in slinging the rock. George Pickens had a fantastic game. Calvin Austin had a great game. A lot of stuff fell the Steelers' way, and I think if they were to play again, like fully healthy, I think the Steelers would win that. But again, I think the Steelers are going to rest their starters, and they're playing an awful Browns team. DTR is not good. There's a reason he keeps getting benched. He's not good. Jameis Winston is better offensively. Yes, he turns the ball over, but Jerry Jeudy is playing at a level he hasn't played at in a while. Jerry Jeudy went to Denver, and the Browns almost won that game off his back.
But
because
how
are we forgetting that the Browns almost destroyed the Broncos? Jameis Winston was cooking that entire game.
He threw 400 yards, and yet we still beat them.
Okay, yeah, okay. So
that just shows how good our offense is.
No. Okay, but you proclaim this Broncos defense, yet you let the Browns, out of all teams, put up 40 points. 40 points.
That's all right.
On your head.
That's all right.
Mr. Great Corner.
Who still won?
Who guard Elijah Moore, who got cut from the Jets.
Who still won?
Guard Jerry Jeudy, who got traded from your own team, the Broncos.
Who still won?
Okay, you won that game because of Jameis Winston, because he was bad, because he threw a pick. An awful pick, too. That wasn't the Broncos' defense being good. That was Jameis Winston being historically bad. He said he got eye surgery so he could see better, and then he's still blind. He threw the ball to no one. He literally threw it to the Broncos defender. That's not the Broncos defense being good. If Jameis Winston just runs the ball, like if they just hand the ball off, they win the game.
He dies. He dies in open field.
Oh my goodness.
He dies in open field.
It's like there are games that these Broncos are winning that like they shouldn't be winning. And I know we're talking about.
I agree. I 100% agree.
But and how the Bengals are going to be able to perform. And I think they're going to be completely fine.
That goes back to my Broncos statement. Bo Nix is better in the clutch situations than Jaden Daniels is.
What? What? Do you remember the Commanders-Bears game? The Hail Mary that ended the Bears seasons? They lost 8 straight games since
That was
Hail
one
Mary.
game. That was one game. Name me another time Jaden Daniels threw
Dude,
a
then he
60-yard touchdown.
He ended Caleb Williams in the Bears' whole season by that one Hail Mary. He best in the clutch time, acting like Bo Nix is Tom Brady.
Might be.
I'll take like 15 other quarterbacks over Bo Nix.
I would too. I'm saying rookie-wise, he's better than Jaden.
What? What?
In clutch time. Not statistically.
What?
Not statistically.
Oh, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself.
I'm not laughing at one specific. I'm laughing at the both of you. I added yes, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, it went past 2 minutes, but they started arguing, and I was like, I'm just gonna let them cook. I'm just gonna. It was like this is like I was like the outside source of questions I got from the Bengals. Not bad questions. It's just swayed more towards that the Bengals will possibly make the playoffs than anything. But that's fine. That's fine. Guess what? Once again, we're trying something new. But minus the first question. I like the first question. But yeah, so the last part of this and consider that the questions Kaleb did not go towards they will not make the playoffs. I'm going to give you guys 4 minutes. I'm going to turn my microphone off and give you guys' last stance of, obviously, Kelis, why do you think the Bengals will make the playoffs? And Kaleb, why do you think they will not make the playoffs? So here we go.
The Broncos are a worse team than the Bengals. Clear cut to the point. Joe Burrow's more experienced. The offense is better. Defense does not need to be good. Kaleb claims that the Broncos defense is good, yet they've let up multiple 20-plus point games. I just simply don't think that the Broncos are going to be able to compete, even if they. Let's just say I'm wrong, right? Let's just say that the Bengals don't make the playoffs, which I think is highly unlikely. The Broncos get to the playoffs and they get clobbered. Bo Nix is going to crumble, and they're going to get clobbered. Bo Nix has literally. He didn't even get to play in the college football playoffs last year. Well, he's not going to do good this year. His last college football game was against Liberty. I just it's nothing. Give me the Bengals. Timeout for what?
I wanted to make it clear. You guys can, and I can restart the timer too, and you can continue. But I was gonna say this wasn't like one of you has to shut up for the other. You guys can both talk.
Okay, Kaleb knows his spot. Kaleb knows his position.
Yeah,
Stop
you guys,
talking.
yeah. I'm muting my microphone. So sorry. Go ahead.
Nah. I agree.
The Bengals are just a better team.
Offensively.
Yeah,
You say we've let up 20 points. That's all right. That's fine. We're still tied for first in points allowed at 17.6.
All right, okay, but your team's not scoring points is what I'm saying, right? You have a team like the Bengals who compete against the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bills, the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Broncos are going to do that. And the Broncos-Chiefs game where the Broncos almost won, I don't think the Chiefs are good. Again, they're like the Broncos.
I agree.
Where their defense is good, but their offense sucks. That's not going to win you playoff games, or that's not going to win you clutch time games. The difference between the Bengals and the Chiefs is they're on opposite sides of the spectrum, right? Where the Bengals are super good offensively, they lack that defense, and I think the Chiefs are super good defensively, but lack that offense. And the big difference isn't like defense is better than the offense, so they're winning the game. It's the coaching. Andy Reid is going to be a better coach than Zach Taylor, and Sean Payton I think is a better coach than Zach Taylor, and that's the difference between the records right now is he's able to control the pace of the game. But when you have an MVP caliber player, multiple in Jamar Chase and in Joe Burrow, playing against the Broncos, I'm taking the MVPs.
But
I'm not
again, going back to the coaching. Zach Taylor he's given Joe Burrow the chances to show that he's an MVP, and he's clutch. Hasn't performed. Yeah.
He has
Middle of the
He
game,
hasn't
second quarter,
performed.
throwing down the field to Jamar Chase, who runs a 4.340. Yeah, he should win that battle. He should win that battle. If he doesn't, then shame on him.
Oh my goodness!
And he shouldn't be where he is. He shouldn't get paid.
Oh, and again, like what you're saying is true, right? And they have Jamar Chase, and he's gonna get paid because he's one of the best of the best. I'm taking Justin Jefferson over Jamar Chase, and that's it. That's it. And who I'm taking above Joe Burrow? Josh Allen. Maybe Patrick Mahomes.
I would put above.
I'm taking Joe Burrow over Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, whatever. I forget the Texans quarterback. I don't even know his name anymore.
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud.
He's an afterthought after the
season. I'm taking Joe Burrow over all of them, right? Because he is that guy. He performed in college, and when he got a shot, he performed in college. I hate Ohio State sucks. Let's not get into that. He performed in college, and then he went to the NFL and had one of the worst offensive lines, and still balled out. And that's the same thing that's happening this year. And the Bengals have gone out and they've picked up these offensive linemen, and it's still not working. Right? Their offensive line is I think it's pretty bottom tier in the NFL right now.
Agreed.
But Joe Burrow is doing what he does, and that's winning games. That's not making mistakes, not turning the ball over. He's 36 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions. 36 passing touchdowns. I think Josh Allen has more total touchdowns because they're rushing touchdowns because he's like 6'5", 250, and they're literally just doing the brotherly shove with him when they get in the goal line. But Joe Burrow's throwing that ball in that situation. He's he's actually putting the game in his hands, and I think that's why the Bengals are going to beat the Broncos. That's why the Broncos don't have that X factor on offense. Who do they have? Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams. All those guys are overlooked.
But who covers them?
If we're playing fantasy football, those are waiver wire guys. They're not on a team.
But
they're not getting picked up.
Who covers them?
It don't matter.
It matters.
You could have an average corner, Cam Taylor-Britt, guarding an average receiver, Cortland Sutton. It's a battle of the averages. The thing is right. The Broncos offense is mid, and the Bengals defense is mid. So you have mid on mid, right? So obviously it's going to counteract. Teams are going to make plays on opposite sides. But I'm going to take the explosive offense over the Browns good or the Broncos good defense when the Browns put over 30 points on them.
I don't think so. I think if you put pressure on Joe Burrow through that terrible offensive line, and that's what the Broncos have done all season. They've put pressure on the quarterback. I mean, look what they did against the Browns. They got 5 sacks, I think. I think that's what they did, and they forced him into bad situations. Yes, he put up 400 yards, but they put him into bad situations where he had to throw the ball away. They've done that to quarterbacks all season. Passing, they're like mid-tier in passing. Run game stop. No, top 5, I think they are in the league.
They have one guy in the top 5 for sacks.
And then you put say it does come down to the wire. The Broncos have 42% red zone defense. They're second in the NFL in red zone D.
Put this in a situation. Game on the line, right? Broncos are up by 2 points, right? And you have Joe Burrow on offense. Broncos should kick the ball off, right? And you have the Bengals on offense starting on the 30-yard line. And you have the Broncos on defense. To win the game, last drive, 2-minute warning, Bengals have 2 timeouts.
Yeah, they're going to get it to the 30, and then Zach Taylor's going to want a touchdown.
No. Zach Taylor's a bad coach, but he's not that bad.
They're up. So say they're up 3 and they want to tie the game. They're on the 5-yard line. Joe Burrow has 1 chance.
It depends on
they're in the red zone against the second best team in the entire NFL in the red zone.
And they kick the field goal. Zach Taylor's not that bad of a coach. What I'm saying
He showed it week 10. He showed it week 10. He could have kicked the field goal and went to overtime, but he didn't.
This game comes down to the wire and the Bengals have the ball on offense and the Broncos are on defense, the Bengals are going to go down and score and they're going to win the game, right? And we're going to see this tonight. And it's going to be amazing because I'm going to be talking to you tonight. If you're on the game tonight, I'll be talking to you while I watch this Broncos Chargers game.
I work.
I don't know if you were. I'll text you after this happens. Whenever the Chargers are going to destroy the Broncos, right? Because the difference between the Broncos and the Chargers is the Chargers have an offense, right? And they have a defense. So you're going to have a good defense against a bad offense, and you're still going to have a good offense against a good defense.
Okay.
So it's going to come down to the Chargers are going to make more plays and they're going to win. And then you're going to have a Broncos team now where Bo Nix is feeling the pressure. And their playoffs are pretty much on the line here the next week. If they lose to the Chargers when they play the Bengals, Joe Burrow's been here before. Jamar Chase is playing like an MVP, and so is Joe Burrow. And they're going to come out, and they're going to win the game because Bo Nix is going to make mistakes because he's a rookie. And that's okay. He's exceeded expectations, but there's a ceiling to this, right? There's a ceiling to being a rookie quarterback from Oregon who didn't make the college football playoffs, who's not used to these big moments like this. There's a ceiling to his skill level and to his ability to have that clutch factor. And Joe Burrow's been here and he's done that. He's competed in a Super Bowl. Yes, he lost, but he was there and he competed, right? And he only lost because Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald. Like, at the end of the day, that's the only reason he lost that Super Bowl is because of Aaron Donald.
But then he beat Patrick Mahomes. He's already shown that he can't play under pressure.
Quarterback to Tom Brady. What do you mean? He's already shown he can't play under pressure. He has shown.
No.
Are you talking about Bo Nix?
You're just talking about Aaron Donald. No, there's not anybody on the entire Broncos defense that compares to Aaron Donald. I 100% agree. But that entire defensive line, so much better than that offensive line. You put pressure on Joe Burrow, and he's going to make bad plays. He's gotten hit before. He's been hurt before. You hit him and knock him down a couple times. He's going to make bad plays. He's shown that before. He shows that every time they lose. You knock him down, he makes bad plays.
So I can see where both of you are coming from. But here's the thing. I actually do see where Kaleb is coming from because if you watch the Steelers when they play Joe Burrow, knock him down.
He makes bad plays.
He throws picks. He didn't turn the ball over that game that much, did he?
Yeah, but I'm just saying in general when the Steelers play Joe Burrow.
He throws it away. He tries to get it out quick. He doesn't make good reads.
That's Steelers versus Lamar. But in the Steelers Bengals game, like you said, getting knocked down, he threw one pick. I think he was sacked one time.
Was that in the second half or the first half?
He was 28 of 38 for 309 yards and 3 touchdowns.
So all I'm going to say about that actually is that Joe Burrow is TJ Watt's bitch.
No, that's Lamar Jackson. You have it confused. I'm a Steelers fan just as much as you are, Mike. But that's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, but for some reason. But here's the thing. But here's whoa, Lamar. I mean, it's TJ Watt, so it makes anybody his bitch. But I'm saying that for some reason, I swear to God, every time I watch them play the Bengals, TJ Watt just kills Joe Burrow every time. But yeah, so gentlemen, thanks for participating in the first debate. Though, is definitely
you'll have to watch the film back. Let me know what Alex thinks and you think. Let's get definitely on this.
Definitely. A lot of arguing in the beginning, a lot at the end, where I made some, and I think that's what I'll do from now on. I'll say because like obviously everybody watching this knows what I'm trying to do. The more arguing, the better. So if it's like a good argument, then I'll give a little leeway on the timer.
Kelis and I have been doing this since freshman year of high school.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So
you have not heard some of the arguments we've had about football or other stuff. So it's gotten heated.
So you mean to tell me that this shouldn't be the only debate you two have on this show?
Nah.
We could do another one.
Keep that in mind.
I don't know if wants another loss though on his record though. Debates against me. Start racking them up.
We should but this is what we're gonna do next time, Kelis, to make it fair. Since you picked this topic, next debate, I'm gonna let Kaleb pick the next topic.
Okay, that's fine with me.
So, and hey, I got 3 from now until the week of April 23rd. the week of March 17th, I need 3 shows a week. So
Yeah, sounds good to me. Kayla can pick whatever topic he
Dude,
wants.
we could debate all the time at 11:30. I'd be down with it.
bro, I don't even know, like, for you guys, I don't even know if I, other than like opening statements in the last shot, I don't even know if I need questions. I think I should just let you guys go for like 20 minutes and just hit start.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's good to have basic
The questions
topics,
helped.
like
Yeah.
basic topics to keep track, but also we are going to stray off because it's hard to compare one team to itself without bringing in like other teams from the outside to compare them to that
Yeah.
team.
Well, another thing we could do is we can make it like 4, 2 to get topics, like 2. Kaleb picks 2 like basic things to start off with, and then Kelis picks the other 2, and then just go from there.
Yeah.
But again, we're testing things out, and
Caleb, I could have swore I had you thinking that the Bengals were going to make the playoffs here when we were talking. You were in agreement with everything I was saying. I was like,
but
man, this
obviously-
guy's
No.
He's on my
I
side.
agree with
hold
the
on.
offense.
It's over. But obviously, well, here's the thing. I'll even ask this question at the end of debates. Kelis, I know your answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Has your opinion changed?
No, what? Not at all.
Kaleb, has your opinion changed?
No.
Yes.
God, but all right. This was episode 52, the first debate segment. And hopefully by the schedule of what I have, because by the time we're recording this is the 19th. And that I'll have a review show of every single spotlight we did this semester, and we'll go from there. And also, gentlemen, by the time this is released, Merry Christmas. I forgot to say that.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Kaleb, I will probably see you tomorrow.
Would I work?
Yeah.
Bet.
So I actually get to do this because Alex isn't here, but I'm not allowed to say his catchphrase.